This is what people think the hips do. They turn back and they turn through. What they do, what I think they do, is they turn back and then the center, it's not in the center anymore, it goes back to the right hip. And that means the left hip can come in without this going out. And then when this goes in far enough, that goes out down the line. And this stops and that goes forward. Center, center, in, out. Figure eight, but with two hips.
Hey guys, Christo Garcia, My Swing Evolution. Yeah, that's a little bit of genius for my friend and mentor, GREGG McHATTON. Yeah, you know, I was studying GREGG for quite a while before somebody I knew said, you should go see him. He's right up the street in Valencia, about 40 minutes away. And that started a great friendship. These clips are actually extra footage that I did not put in my film, Mr. Hogan. If you haven't seen it, it's a pretty good golf movie, I'll tell you. But GREGG is a real genius, and he has a way of breaking down the swing in a way that I've never heard anyone else talk about it. And the complexity of this movement is a little tricky, but if you can wrap your head around it, you can really learn to swing the club with elegance the way that Ben Hogan and the great golfers from the 50s and 60s did. So that's my great goal, is to pass that along. And, you know, before I get to my lessons today, I wanted to tell everybody that there's still room for the MSE Intensive this weekend, March 31st and April 1st at Eaton Canyon. We've got a small group of guys that are dedicated to work on their swings, and we are going to transform their game in one weekend. And I can do the same for you as well. I'm really excited about the system that I've created, and it is really, really something that fills me with pride when I see golfers suddenly get better golf swings and better contact with the golf ball. So if you're frustrated with your golf swing, I'm here to tell you I did it myself, and you can change your game and change your life. So here's more from Master Golf Instructor GREGG McHATTON.
When we had the lab, we were fortunate enough to have a biomechanics lab at the University of Nevada at Reno. And so we did studies on, that's how Blobman started, was that we did studies on Mr. Hogan's golf swing, and we did studies on the swing that they made after Shell's Wonderful World of Golf, where he gave the tip. And the neat thing about that footage is it's 90 frames a second, so that was the Minolta BizHub in 1964, right? 90 frames a second, but I don't know of any other footage of Mr. Hogan that's more than 30 frames. So, you know, at the end of that, we have 230 frames of his golf swing. Certainly, Mr. Hogan used his body first. You feel like that, you know, he talked about how he turned, the start of the downswing was with his left hip. And that comes through very clearly in the book. I think that it's easy to be misled by that because too many people turn too much, and he had such a kind of he had a gradual sliding turn until he was like 3/4, Mr. Hogan, 3/4, and then he just turned like crazy.
It all goes that way.
Right. Yeah, his hip action was so interesting, and you know they talk about the kinetic chain. You know, that's such a hot topic, and Mr. Hogan's left hip does stop. And I always thought that, well, you know, it really doesn't stop. It doesn't stop, but it does. It goes, when it gets just past impact, it stops cold, and the right hip just keeps flying through. And so it's this. It looks very Tai Chi-ish when you see what his hips did. So this gets out of the way. This gets out of the way, and this fires through. Straight up. Straight up.
Yeah, so, okay.
Yeah, and it looks like it even pulls his upper body into its
Absolutely.
full glory.
Absolutely. Yeah, all the work that he does splits himself open and you know, presents himself to the world after having hit this perfect shot.
It's hard to describe the sound when Mr. Hogan hit a shot.
He had this tenacity about him. It's really the stuff legends are made of.
He was like Michelangelo and Da Vinci. You know, he was an artist with a golf club.
This is Ben Hogan's locker right here, number 50.
He caddied for my dad. That was the beginning of their relationship.
Suffering produces endurance. Endurance produces character.
He knew what was going to happen, and there wasn't anything he could do about it.
Why he actually decided at that point in time to share what he told me, I have no idea.
What I think he did was he applied physics better than everybody else.
Ben Hogan never watched Jack Nicklaus practice, but Jack Nicklaus watched Ben Hogan practice.
People say Hogan won't ever talk to you. Well, Hogan talked to me a lot.